Welcome to the Multiple Classroom Max program. Modal verbs, section 3, may and might. This is the teaching video of how and when to use may and might. First, let's look at the definition of may and might. May and might are modal verbs used to express the following things. Number one, possibility. Possibility in Chinese means this. Number two, permission. Permission in Chinese means this. Now, as you can see, that may is used for the present tense and might for the past. So just like can and could, can we use can in the present tense and could in the past tense. May and might are just the same. We used to talk about the following, the above two things, possibility and permission. May in present, might in the past. Like could, might can also be used in polite communication in the present or future tense. First, let's look at the formulation of may and might. Affirmative just means yes. You can say I may, you may, I might, you might. Interrogative, in questions we say may I, might I, may you, and might you. Negative means no. I may not, you may not. Now notice that there is no contraction for may not or might not. So you use it like this, may not or might not. There is no contraction for the two. Now let's look at how to use them. May and might, number one, we also use may in present or future, or might in the past to talk about things being likely. Being likely just being possible. Is it possible or not possible? So let's look at the examples. Number one, we may stop to see Disney World on the way to Miami. This is a correct sentence because it actually talks about the future. It hasn't happened yet. They haven't gone to Miami. So they are about to be on their way to Miami. So they say, we may stop to see Disney World. You're about to make the trip. So it is talk about this sentence is talking about what's going to happen in the future. Number two is a wrong sentence, and let's see why it is wrong. Nicole told me that she may stop to see me on her way to England. You can see here, we talk about direct and indirect speech. Nicole told me, this is an indirect speech, and it's in the past tense. First of all, this is an indirect speech. Sorry, let's make it bigger. And talks about the past. So you can see that from the word over here, Nicole told me. So over here, we should also use the past tense. The past tense of might, if you want to talk about what's possible in the future, what's possible, what's not possible, we have to use may. So the correct sentence will be, she might stop to see me on her way to England. So you have to use might, this is correct, instead of may, incorrect, for the past. Now, example number three, Nicole told me that she might stop to see me on her way to England. Now here, can you see that? Might is used as the past tense of may when indirect speech is introduced by a verb in the past tense. You can see that this is indirect speech, and if this verb is in the past tense, we have to use might, not may. Now, take a look at the note over here. Note, direct speech. John said, I might go to America next week. You have no idea what direct speech is. If you have no idea what direct speech is, just click the link and you will have a description of what direct speech is in Chinese. And then indirect speech just means this. Basically, it's pretty simple. When you use in a direct speech, you are quoting the person's word. So you're saying, John said, quotation mark, I may go to America next week. This is what John said, and John said this. But if you use it in an indirect way, John said that he might go to America next week. You're not quoting his word. You're just telling another person what he told you. So for direct speech, we can just use the same sentence that he said. but for the indirect speech, we have to change everything to its past tense. Now, let's look at number 2. May can also be used in a present or future tense to show weak possibilities. We can use might in the present or future to show weak possibility. What's weak possibility? Something that's possible, but not very likely. So we use may for the present and future possibilities. We use might, present and future, for weak possibilities. Now, number 1, Andy may forget about Ted now that he's in jail. Andy might forget about Ted now he's in jail. They look similar, but when we use may, it's more likely to happen. This is stronger in possibility. And we use might, this is weaker in possibility. So might, present, but we use it to talk about weak possibility. Number 2, it might snow tomorrow. It may snow tomorrow. It might snow tomorrow. They look almost the same, but when you use might, there's a higher chance that it's going to snow tomorrow. Use might, the possibility is weaker. Let's look at example number 3. Here says, we do not use may in questions to ask whether things are possible. Might is unusual in questions. So we do not use may to ask questions like, may it rain, to ask for future possibilities. We do not use might to ask for future possibility as well. It's not common. So for these two cases, it's wise to use will. So for the first one, instead of saying may it rain, it's wrong. Grammatically, we say will it rain. Instead of saying may you go home, we say will you go home, or you come home later. So we use will, not may and might to ask for future possibility. Now, note the difference between these two things. One is may not be, the other one is can't be. When we say may not be, it means perhaps it's not, maybe it's not. When we say can't be, we are certain about the outcome. We're certain that it is not. So look at the following example over here. If you say he may not be the best student in the class, you are saying that maybe, I don't think so, he's the best student in the class, maybe. But if you say he can't be the best student in class, you are certain that he is not the best student in class. So there's a difference. Okay, let's look at explanation number 3. Number 3, may and might are both used to ask for permission in present or future tense. So we can use may and might to ask for permission. Just like can and could, we use might, like how we use could, in polite communication. So look at the following 2 examples. May Sue ask the teacher a question or 2? If you want to be more polite, you can say might Sue ask the teacher a question or 2? Number 2, do you think we might take a short break, Mort? If you use might, you're being polite. Number 4, may and might are both used in polite request or offers. So if you want to you want to make a polite request or offer, you can use may or might. May I see you ID, please? It's more polite than can or could. May I offer you a cup of coffee or tea? So it's like this. When you want to make a polite request or an offer, can is the least polite. And then there's could, and there is may, and there is might. If you want to make an request or an offer, this is the least polite, more polite, even more polite, the most polite. Number 5, let's look at the last one. May is also used for expressing a wish. So if you want to express your wish, you can use may. For example, number 1, Sue, may peace always be with you. May you live long and happy, Ray. You used may to express a wish, or you can make any wish. For example, like may fortune follow you everywhere. Okay, this is a wish too. So we can use may to express a wish. Let's look at the last section of how to use may and might. Section 4. May and might with have and verb pp. Verb pp refers to verb past participle. Like over here, eat is the root verb, ate is the past tense, and eaten is the past participle. Point number 1. The pattern may, might with have and verb pp is used for talking about past possibilities. So talk about past possibilities. If we say something may, might have happened, we mean that perhaps it happened, maybe it happened. Let's look at the example over here. Number 1, Jim might have changed her mind and decided to go to Brazil. So maybe Jill changed her mind and decided to go to Brazil. Maybe that's true. Now, point number 2, might with have and verb pp is also used when something was possible but did not in fact happen. So we use this to talk about something that was possible but didn't really happen. Example number 1, Frank said, you might have been killed in a stupid war. Now, were you killed? Of course not. The person is still alive. So action that was possible but did not happen. So this person wasn't killed in that stupid war, but he or she might have been killed. That's possible, but he or she survived and they were not killed in that war. So we can use it to talk about something that's possible in the past but did not actually in fact happen. Let me give you one more example how to use this. You may not, you may have been scolded by the teacher. When you say this, you may have been scolded by the teacher. So was the person scolded by the teacher? No, not really. But that's possible because maybe this person didn't hand in his or her homework in time. So it was possible for that person to be scolded by the teacher, but it didn't happen. So he was safe. I'm using may have been with verb pp to express something that was possible in the past but didn't actually happen. Now this is the end for how and when to use may and might. For more information, please visit www.theportableclassroom.blogspot.tw and look for the section titled Max Program. You will find all the lesson plans on all the grammar points you need. Thank you for your patience.